Hi, my name is Juli Joyce. I'm here from Intermountain Nurse Family Partnership, and I'm joined today by Claudia King from Summit Advocates.
Thank you so much for having me today, Julie.
Sure, thanks for being here. So recently, we shared a video outlining what defines domestic violence, statistics about how common this was pre-pandemic, and now with the added stressors of COVID-19. We also shared resources that people in the community can use if they're seeking support. Today, we're back to interview Claudia King from Summit Advocates and find out more about how Advocates works. The month of October is National Domestic Violence Awareness Month, so it seems like just the right time to share more about this important resource. Claudia, when a person decides to ask for help, what happens next?
Well, first off, thank you so much for having me, Julie. I really appreciate it. So it can be really scary when somebody asks for help because they don't know what to expect. And what we do at Summit Advocates is survivor-defined help, survivor-defined advocacy. And what that means is the path that is taken by the individual that comes to us is defined by them. So we're only going to go as quickly or as slowly as they want to go, and we're going to give them the specific resources that they need depending on their situation. So when they first come to us for help, they're going to do an intake with our bilingual advocate. And based on that conversation, she'll decide what resources might fit with them best. And then she's always going to ask them, what resources do you think you need? Because again, we want to make sure that we're giving the help that the survivor specifically wants and needs at that time.
Thank you. And how safe is it to ask for help? And can you also speak about confidentiality with advocates?
Absolutely. So our services are 100% confidential. We don't require a police report, and we don't require any other reporting as well. The only time that we do have to let anybody else know that somebody has come to us is if there's a case of child abuse and we have firsthand knowledge. But that's the only time that we are not 100% confidential. So people don't have to worry about anyone else finding out that they came to ask for us. So as far as how safe it is to ask for help, we actually have a couple different ways that you can do that. We have our 24/7 crisis line, again, 100% confidential. We also have an email address that you can use, info@summitadvocates.org. Lastly, we have another confidential email address, which is summitmask19@gmail.com. So if you use that email address, it doesn't look like it's coming to Summit Advocates. So a partner who may see your email won't know that you're reaching out to us for help.
Okay, thank you. And what happens if there are children involved?
So if there are children involved, nothing really changes. We have resources specifically available for children, and we have partnerships with other community partners that we can work with to make sure that the children get everything that they need as well. Again, the only time that we have to do any mandatory reporting is if we have firsthand knowledge of abuse. So unless that's the case, nothing changes when there are children involved.
Okay. And how does accessing advocates affect people who are undocumented?
That's a great question, Julie, and I know that's a concern for a lot of people. So your immigration status is not a concern to us at Summit Advocates, and you don't have to have any certain status to come to us for help. Additionally, we actually have an attorney on our staff that can help with certain immigration petitions and visas based on an individual's specific situation.
Oh, wow, okay. And if someone just wants to speak with advocates about their situation, but they're not ready for a drastic change, what does that look like?
And you know, that's where we're at with a lot of people that first contact us, Julie, and that's okay. Again, we're all about being survivor defined. So if somebody wants to just give us a call and talk about what options may be available down the road, that's totally fine. We'll have that conversation with them. We'll talk about what options are available, and then we'll be there for them whenever they're ready for help. We don't want to force help on anybody or tell somebody that they have to do a certain thing. You know, any individual's success is really defined by them. You know, I can't say what is a successful outcome for you. So we're going to give the person the resources, and whenever they're ready, we'll be there for them.
Can you talk a little bit about what sort of resources might be included in that exchange?
Absolutely. So as you know, we do have the 24/7 crisis line, and that's always available. We also do have an emergency safe house and emergency shelter options. So if anybody, is in a situation where they're not safe at home, we can help them with that. We have legal advocacy. So in addition to the immigration options that I spoke with you about earlier, we can help with family law, custody law, and our attorney can provide some information on that as well. We do wellness groups, we do therapy support groups, we do personal advocacy, we do accompaniment to court and to law enforcement interviews if that's something that somebody wants to do. We do medical accompaniment if somebody has to go to the hospital or the doctor's office. We can do that as well. We do rental assistance. We do emergency financial assistance. There's so many options that we have, Julie, and it really does depend on what that person needs, and we will, walk down that path with them.
That is really broad. Thank you so much for sharing that. I'd also like to close by asking you, what are the different ways people can reach out for help?
Thank you for asking that, Julie. Well, again, our 24/7 crisis line is 970-668-3906. That is available all the time and will be answered by a volunteer or a staff member who has been trained in domestic violence and sexual assault crisis line training. You can contact our email at info@summitadvocates.org. You can contact our confidential email at summitmask19@gmail.com. And then if you go to a pharmacy or a healthcare provider that has a sticker with our logo, you can also confidentially ask them for help.
Claudia, thank you so much for sharing your time and expertise on such an important topic.
Thank you so much, Julie. I really appreciate you.
Thanks. Thank you.